Hey guys, welcome to Quality Shot. I'm really excited to be joined by European Super Featherweight champ Archie Sharp. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good,
Lockdown
good
here in the
stuff.
UK. So, how's it been for you with COVID and everything? I know you got out once during 2020, but how's things at the moment?
It's been a nightmare, really. Now, at the start for things, at the start of it, I was using the downtime and I was enjoying the lockdown. But I think it's outrun its course now. I think I just need, I want to get back to some normality, at least get back fighting anyway. One fight, like you say, in a year. That's the only thing that's aggravating me, really, because the whole lockdown, spending time with family is lovely. Um, but yeah, boxing. I'm missing the fighting side of things now because it's half holding me back where I want to go.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's been very weird times. But I guess so as an elite boxer, though, you have exemptions, don't you? So you can still go to boxing gyms, etc. Just you can't go to the normal gyms, isn't it? Is that my understanding? Am I correct?
Yeah. So I can still train. That's not a problem. So that's keeping me sane at the minute. But for me, it's the fights. Like obviously, I want to be at a certain place by now. I wanted to have big fights and be in big fights. I know it's the same for everyone else, but it still don't mean it's not frustrating. Do you know what I mean? I want to get out there now and get back in the ring and have the big fights that I want.
Yeah, makes sense. In terms of fighting, obviously that one fight you did have, there was no crowd. How do you find it? Was it a bit weird and a bit kind of surreal fighting in front of no? Was it a little bit like a spar almost rather than a proper fight?
Yeah, I think. Do you know what? Going into the fight, I thought it would benefit me because I'd be more relaxed. But the problem is, it done the opposite for me really because I was too relaxed. And as you know, I've been a massive critic on that fight on myself. So yeah, I didn't perform very well. I'm not saying it's just because of the crowd that there was other things that went wrong, but yeah, I think that's a big factor because I'm an entertainer. Do you know what I mean? I fight for the fans, and that's what kind of spurs you on to when you see certain openings or whatever else. That's what kind of gets you going with the crowd. There.
Yeah, that makes sense. So obviously, as you just said, I wanted to talk about it. You were obviously a big critic of your last performance against Jeff Foury, which you came through and beat him rather convincingly, but you weren't happy with the performance after. What are you looking to then improve on after that performance? Because obviously, I'm assuming there's a few specific points that you want to work on and have been working on. So, what are you kind of looking for in your next performance?
Yes, obviously, I'm looking forward to getting back out and putting on a big performance. Obviously, um, since then I've made adjustments in my training. Obviously, got a new trainer down at the iBox gym, so I've made adjustments there. We've been working on a lot of things, and I was brought the old Archie Sharp back a bit as well as adding the new bits that he wanted to add. So, so yeah, it'd be good. I'm looking forward to getting out and putting a big show on for everyone. That's probably what's more frustrating as well because I've gone into because we're in lockdown. I've only had one performance and it wasn't a great performance. Made all these new changes now. I look forward to putting it where it matters.
Yeah, I guess the only good thing is because, as you said, you've had a change in like trainer setup and background that you've now got a little bit of time to get accustomed to it and get used to the methods, etc. So, what's the obviously I don't want to get too much into it because just because of trainers, etc. But what's the big difference between what the training you're doing before and now? Is there going to be, are we going to see a tweak in your style of fighting, etc., or is it going to be just a more kind of improved version of what you had before?
I think it's about tweaking now because I've boxed at an elite level now for years. So so obviously I'm still learning every day. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I've done everything, but I've kind of had my style now. I've been boxing since the age of 7, so I've got my style. It's about tweaking. And with Richard, I've been with Richard for when I was with Richard for 18 years, I think, or 20 years. We just got complacent, and when you get complacent, you forget things. Everything goes into routine. Um, Being with Val down at the iBox and Eddie Lamb and Paul, it's very refreshing. And Like even like today, I've been in the gym working on things, and he was like, don't you?" Al said to me, "Don't you ever do that?" I said, "You know what, Al? When I was young, I used to throw them shots, but I just got complacent and I just forgot things. So now, yeah, we're just basically refreshing everything, and Al's tweaked things, put new things in. So yeah, like I said, I like the show, put it all into the fight night, but it's just frustrating not having a date.
Yeah, no, for sure. I can imagine. So talking about dates then, so 2021, I'm assuming obviously you're looking for a much busier year than last year for sure. What are you looking for or looking to get out of 2021 then? Obviously there's no boxing in the UK for in January anyway, but hopefully we see a return to it, end of February for example maybe, and we can get shows back up and running. What do you have a plan in your mind for what 2021 looks like?
Do you know what? Yeah, not really. If I had it my way, then I'd be knocking on the doors for overseas fights against an American or something like that. But until this COVID pandemic kind of eases up a bit, it's half a bit worrying really, because I want to be out, and I'm sure I will be the first show Frank puts out. So as soon as he can get a show out, I'm sure I'll be on that show. But regarding opponents, it's very hard because I'm waiting on Frampton and Jamel to box to see where they go. Oscar Valdez, I've heard say that might be having certain fights which may open up the rankings, which would then push me either, I think, third. I think I'm fourth at the minute, or wherever I am at the minute. It change every time, so I don't know. But maybe, do you know what I mean? The top three, which are still pushing for my world title fight. So that is basically my main goal. But in the meantime, whatever I have to do just to keep my ranking there and keep active. That's the main thing at the minute.
Yeah, because as you said, you're highly ranked in, especially the WBO. So kind of knocking on the door, and yeah, you mentioned. I mean, it's a pretty stacked division to be fair. With Jamal Herring and Oscar Valdez, Carl Frampton, Shakur Stevenson as well now, in the mix. So he's obviously moved up and is overseas over the pond, and posing to win a world title as well. So if you out of those names, if you had to choose one that you could fight this year, say in an ideal scenario, say you have one tune-up fight or kind of an in-between interim fight, let's not say tune-up fight this year in the UK goes well, and maybe an opportunity comes along, and you kind of had your pick in a fantasy scenario out of these kind of big names, who would you want to fight?
Well, obviously, number one would be Jamel because he's got the WBO world title, so that'd be my main pick. But in between, uh, Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez interests me. So what? To be honest with you, they all interest me. They do all interest me. Frampton, I know Frampton on a personal basis, so he wouldn't be my first. But obviously, if it's got to be there, then 100%. But Shakur Stevenson, another fighter, just saying that he's the best thing and whatever else. But I believe I beat these fighters. Do you know what I mean? So this is why I want to be in with the mix. And I know, judging on my last performance, but that's all in the past now. Like, I've had the ability there from day one. It's just about me getting out of bed and doing these and putting the performance on. But unless I've got an A fighter in front of me, it's hard for me. That's just how it is. Like, as an amateur, when I boxed the best and the elite amateurs, I turned it on and I won, because that's what it's about. You see, when you do that, if I'm in the favourite or whatever else, it kind of sometimes it's hard to get out of bed for it. But like I say, I've got a new frame of mind this year. Since I made the move, things are different. I'm even on meal plans now. This early on, I've never done meal plans since I boxed Woodstock. So things are definitely have changed, and all for the best. I know I'm only 25, but this year could be a really big opening year to many more big fights in the near future.
Yeah, no, for sure that makes a lot of sense. And also, as you said, knocking on the door to that world title. So fingers crossed you get it sooner rather than later. So obviously, in your mind, the next step is that world title at super featherweight. I always ask this question because I think it's quite interesting. Some people know, some people don't. But in your mind, do you have something long term? Like, this is what I want to achieve throughout my career. Obviously, I'm assuming world champion is that first step. But beyond that, do you have goals in mind that you want to check off? And when you sit down, when all's said and done, you're done with your career. You think, this is my list. I've ticked it all off. I'm done.
Yeah, I want to be, obviously, I want to do a few weights. I want to go from super featherweight, lightweight, and kind of build it through. But even just mixing with the big names, because you've got obviously Ryan Garcia pulled off a very good win. I know these boys are at lightweight and they are big. They're a bit bigger than me. But only in time I'm gonna grow. With the light, and I reckon I will move into lightweight at some point. I'm a massive super featherweight, very big super featherweight. And I know once now everything's getting properly. I'm on the nutrition, I'm on the meal plans, I'm on everything properly. I'll be able to do things a lot better and move up more healthier, if you like. Do you know what I mean? Not just pile a load of weight on, I'll come up properly. And I want to fight these big names. You've got Davis, you've got all these big names. I just want to be in the mix of them. That's what I want to. I don't want to be just playing things safe and just getting through it. I believe I'm the best, and to do that, you've got to box these big names, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah, no, 100%. And actually, brings me really nicely onto Garcia Campbell, because I was going to ask you about that, because obviously you said you watched it. As you said, the one division up, that lightweight division, is so stacked at the moment. And to be honest with you, some people saying it might be the hottest kind of around at the moment. I think, people obviously, heavyweights always big, but welterweights was particularly big. But now I think with this kind of 4 or 5 people around, 4 or 5 fighters that are really top fighters, it's definitely hotting up, and a lot of them are quite young as well. So for you, well, first of all, actually, what do you think of the performance? Were you a little bit surprised that Ryan Garcia did as well as he did? Because Luke Campbell, obviously Olympic gold medalist, or at a very, very top level. And some people, in the media calling Ryan Garcia a social media fighter, etc., and they didn't think he was a real deal. But I think he probably showed that, he's got the ability and can back it up. So what's your take on it?
I think that's a very big statement to make. I know Luke, but I've done rounds with Luke before, and he's a good kid. And also, he is a big lightweight. He's a very big lightweight, and so that's what surprised me the most was the size of Garcia. Because I generally thought Luke Campbell was going to be the much bigger fighter, but he wasn't. So it just goes to show Garcia is big for the weight himself. Obviously, shows that he can punch for it, because to do that to Luke Campbell, we've been in with Linares and Lomachenko, been in some great fighters, and like you say, Olympic gold medalist. Like, he's been around the block. So for that to happen, I think that's a very big statement to make. And I did say my words were, we'll see how good Ryan Garcia is on the back of his performance, and he couldn't have done any better. So just goes to show, I do think Garcia is the real deal. He's definitely one of the top fighters out there for sure around the weight.
Yeah, I mean, and to get up, so I think obviously never been dropped in his career, and then to get dropped in that second round, I think recover, I thought was pretty impressive the way he got up. And
very impressive. Being only 22, never been in that environment before. That's happened to him. He's got up and he went and put a big performance on. So fair play to the kid. He done very, very well. So yeah, I think he done very well. I think he beats Haney. I think he beats Devin Haney.
Okay.
Don't think he beats Tank. And definitely not Lopez. I think that's kind of where I've got it. I've got Lopez at number 1 at that weight. Then you'll have, I'll go with a Tank, Garcia, and then I think out of them top 4, and then Devin in 4th. That's how I would personally put it.
Okay. Where does Lomachenko fit if he's still at 135, which I think he is going to be? Where does he fit in there after that loss?
So this is the thing with Lomachenko. If he comes back in, because I know he had another operation on his arm or on his shoulder or something.
Shoulder, yeah.
So depending how he comes back from that, listen, he's a great fighter. We all know that. Look, I've admired him for years, watched him for years. I think he's a great fighter. Personally, when he beat Lopez, when Lopez beat him, sorry, I did say if they ever had a rematch, I believe Lomachenko does win. But it's just very interesting to see how he comes back from that injury. If he comes back the same Lomachenko, then look, I do believe in the rematch. He's got the tools to beat Lopez. I do believe that. I think he can beat Lopez. But Lopez was the thing is when you get to that level, they're all good. Everyone's a good fighter. So if someone has a bit of an off day and someone's that 1% better, they're gonna win. And that's what I think happened now. I think Lomachenko, not taking anything away from Lopez because he's made a massive statement. What I'm saying is he was that 1 or 2% better than Lomachenko, and I just think that Lomachenko has got the tools in there to beat Lopez. But it just depends on who brings their A game. And that night, Lopez brought his A game, and I think the same with all them sort of fighters. Really, it all depends on who brings their A game.
Yeah, I guess in any kind of elite sport, elite level, in any sport, it's about the margins, isn't it? Small margins, as you said, those small percentages that make a difference. So, yeah, I can see that. It's so funny because I was going to ask you about, your ranking or top 5 lightweights, but you beat me to it. So fantastic. Obviously, I'm assuming, hopefully world champion. And as you said, moving through the weights, I mean, there's some really, really exciting prospects in those divisions. So, I mean, it's, as you said, very, very big, and everyone's got their different rankings, etc. So I think definitely fights to look out for. I wanted to ask you actually about something that clearly I think everyone in the boxing world's talking about, which is Fury versus Joshua, which hopefully is going to happen this year. I think it's most likely looking like it's not going to happen in the UK. It's going to happen in the Middle East somewhere. I would assume. I think people talking about Singapore, etc. I always am interested to get people's take on this. What's your opinion on that fight, and who wins and why?
Joshua Fury, yeah.
Yeah.
Joshua Fury fight. I don't know if you've seen any other interviews of mine. I've never backed AJ to beat Tyson Fury, even from day one. I believe Tyson Fury beats him every day they fight. If they fight 100 times, I think Fury beats him 100 times. That's just my personal intake on that fight. And to be honest with you, I made that statement even when Fury was out of the ring at whatever weight he was at, and not boxing at the time. I still made that statement. If he ever comes back, he'll clear up the division, and I believe, and it's fair to say that he has.
Yeah, I mean, ridiculous, miraculous comeback, isn't it? But as a spectacle for boxing as a whole and for the UK, it's huge, isn't it? I mean, it's probably the biggest event since England winning the World Cup, I'd assume. I think people are saying, and I just think it can only be good for fighters like yourself and for British boxing and just boxing as a whole for that type of fight to get made, and then hopefully, we can see more fights where the best fight the best, because that's what people want to see, I think. Okay, in terms of like,
I hope AJ takes it.
Yeah, AJ takes it. Yeah, I'm sure there's enough, as a lot of people have said. I think there's enough money on the table for everyone to eat. So I'm hoping it will get done. Yeah, I'm sure he will. Let's see. Fingers crossed. It'll be a very, very big shame, let's say, if we never see that fight, but I'm sure he will. Kind of going a little bit away from boxing, just want to get your, kind of understand as a boxer. So you're most of your life, obviously, you're training. I think you've got a young family as well, so spending time with them, as you said, during COVID, etc. What do you do outside of boxing, though? Apart from spending time with your family and boxing, do you have any hobbies that you do? And I wanted to find out a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I do play a bit of golf. I like to play a bit of golf. I enjoy that. But yeah, do you know what it is with the kids and the family? It's 100 miles an hour anyway. So if I'm not running around doing things with the kids and the family and the missus, then I'm training. And if I'm not training, I'm chilling out. So and every now and again I try and play a bit of golf. But I'm a family person, family orientated. So everything I do really is with the family. So So yeah, that is basically me training, fighting, and family. And a bit of golf if I can fill it in.
Well, golf's a good thing to do because no matter what age you are, you can probably play it. So after you've retired and you've got your belts and you're looking at your cabinet and you've got your shiny belts to just sit down at home and look at, you can go and play a couple of rounds of golf, and I'm sure you'll be able to enjoy that. So that'll be nice. I think that's something I need to pick up
Hopefully, yeah.
myself. That's something I need to
As
pick
if
up
I can.
myself.
I haven't played for ages, so I dread getting back out there. As
Very
if I can get round a
frustrating
course
sport.
somewhere.
Yeah, I played a couple
Yeah,
of rounds
yeah, yeah,
myself,
yeah.
and it's very, very frustrating. But very, very technical, I think, and people think it's a lot easier than it is. But playing a couple of rounds
No,
myself,
far from it. Far
it's
from it.
yeah, it's I play a few other sports, but golf is one that you have to have a lot of patience for. I think putting is a nightmare. I
Yeah.
think on the green. But yeah, okay. I think that's me done. Is there anything else you want to touch upon, or shout outs, or sponsors, etc.
Just
you want to
wanted to say
mention?
thanks to yourself for having me on, and everyone out there. Really, I know it's hard times, and it's been very hard times. And I know people will see I do a lot with mental health, and I think even like myself, it's been really hard. You know what I mean? So you just got to keep getting through it, and hopefully we'll see an end to this, and we're all in it together. And hopefully, sports and other activities. I know for myself, I can get in the gym, but hopefully the gyms and things will be open soon, so people keep themselves occupied and get through this. And if anyone has got problems, I think my biggest shout out to that is talking to as many people as you can and talking about everyone. If you've got any problems, just get it off your chest and talk to people. So that's really my message for what's going on out there at the minute. And it is very hard times, so we're all in it together and we'll all get through it together.
Yeah, 100%. Really well said. Yeah, as you said, tough times, but that's really well put by yourself. Thank you very much as well for being on. I really do appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come on, and it's really good speaking to you. And I'm
So
sure
thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
no
Thank
problem.
you.
I'm sure we'll speak again soon. I hope you get a date sorted to get sorted out soon as well. I know it's tough with everything going on, so hopefully you get it sorted and you get that world title shot, which I'm sure you'll get. If well, hopefully this year. Let's say, fingers crossed. Let's be
Lovely.
optimistic.
Thank you.
Have a good one, mate.
God bless, mate. You too.
Thanks.